Hello, this is Joe DeMoro. When he was a kid, he's one of the kids who recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, also with a Michael Kerr and a Ray Kalal. There was a girl there, I don't know her name. She's involved all along Route 3 with them, with people all along Route 3, the intelligence community, in conjunctions to it and to that, like the state judicial branch offices. They have federal evidences crimes regarding that spot where they put up the street sign with Morgan Circle and Randy Lane in the past. That is roles with their roles with various natures of federal criminals and child abusers, leaders of kids, first forced years apart. They had collusions with that overt criminal enterprises, private ones at the same time. Some kids from my school said that there's a Peruta family involved with it. And that was years ago. I don't know who that said that, who it was, why they said that. And there's also people that were putting fake transcripts of my high school tied to that. At each of the campuses I went, there are people I never even had conversations with tied to people who've been putting fake things in databases with and that is recorded. And they're pretending other though, with interbranch forging and switching names, and their collusions with those same names on all sides of criminal and civil cases, and their family members, their sources, the news at the same time, and the intelligence tied to them, foreign and domestic. They have a bunch of people next to the campuses, intercities, involved with the same house, with wire crimes with them, with falsified police reports. Some Mendez police faked conversations with me at the Wethersfield police station. They have their roles with names next to their, like Mendez police, with the Wethersfield Police Department have those predicate acts. They have predicate acts at Fox Connecticut News, also with forensics names, with a Bob Chase and a Phil Collo involved with sexual medical offenders, predicate acts on my street. Since then, too, further involved with more child abusers, leaders, and kids, as ones involved with the ones years apart. They have time collusions with families with them with that. Multiple courts, family members, and their positions in themselves are criminally involved through time with whiting forensics with sexual and medical offenders of kids. Sandy Hook campuses has victims advocates involved with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and confessions regarding. They have in other words, they're not following mandated law too. Get the interbranch on paper, one name and sequence. Sandy Hook campus has made a bunch of confessions too tied to this. And places like people tied to all along Route 3 and Mr. Neville, his students have him recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with intelligence agencies that forced them to change and fake what they said as collusions with abuses of themselves when they were little kids. And their roles with the same thing, self-valued through subject treatment, self-valued that are breached. They're leaving out and faking exceptions. They're only capable of it. These are a bunch of people with Hartford Hospital next to them, intelligence in Hartford, that have intercities next to the campuses. And all along Route 175, they were being influenced to be time where I was going to be, tricked me to be at a place so someone could take a picture and make a fake exception. They use exceptions in exception nature, tactical ulterior, from how nature does when nature is not only itself as criminal insidiousness nature. I am not even a lawyer. I've been using since I was a kid. All the hyper evidential where lawyers all sides of criminal and civil cases. You guys left out black people's rights of eyes. This is also recorded exploiting a bunch of people at intelligence communities, adults and kids at Central Connecticut State University, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed that Mr. Abruzzi is also involved with the Joe DeMoro. I only saw Joe DeMoro on one day on our campus, and one time after that on Central at the Wethersfield campus. He has collusions with an O'Brien family and a Gold family that weren't even in my class. I used to never see them around. One time I saw them around, they were playing a game. I didn't want to play that game, so I just went and sat and walked. And plus, it was trying to. There were people trying to plant evidences with them. O'Brien family had roles already with all kinds of investigators. There's one with the name O'Brien on Route 3. They're arresting him. They're implying that might be, maybe it's not, but they're implying, but it's plausible that they're trying to establish undercover where they have collusions, where that's a truth to lie, where they use lies where they don't have the right to lie. They put whole fake transcripts. They have collusions with names on all sides of criminal and civil cases and the interbranch and the foreign with delusions too. But you guys aren't following mandated law, so this hasn't surfaced, which is also relative because these are people with foreign and domestic medical families and ones with badges involve criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions, raw, pretending other with what they know. How could they be speaking? In other words, they don't even have understood James Madison's plan. Everyone had to be forced, counter-extorted, forced to become a country. And then they had to hide that, or there would be, and they had no way to defend themselves because not everyone broke the torture, extortion, slavery laws. And on top of that, were a private criminal enterprises ones, the Sense and Sensibilities, no, Jane Austen's phrase. But you guys can't appreciate proper reading of syntax, American history, and American English. You know, if you can't appreciate the principal plan, how it has been replaced. And this breaching method shows them they need to hide self-value roles with that. Also, tactically delusions wrong. Otherwise, you guys would have used too. Just have how we have Black people's rights of eyes to discern there was a breaching method entrenched. Thank God our founders communicated about it, because no one is allowing that to be demonstrated using nature's evidences of it, which actually recorded, which is also there are evidence where people pretend others recorded. It's inherent, active to, progressive to it, demonstration of the same thing. In other words, no one had free speech, our founders. And the only founder we know is James Madison. But even if you didn't know that, and then James Madison was the president / chief too, he still didn't have free speech. That's why slavery they had to leave it entrenched. Not one has runched because not one allows free speech. Because you use your titles, your differences, the way the breaching method showed you how to. And then you have to pretend others. So the breaching method shows you how to make subject treatments. You know, you guys are sensing too for the sense and sensibilities. Your mandated law says you don't fake and change and hide what people say and torture them not to say anything. WFSB stole my identity as their recorded roles with mixed natures of organized crimes. They have doctors who attach little kids to fake conversations with themselves. And then when they're adults, they do the same thing as families. And a bunch of people tied to a Leahy family and a Lombardo family have predicate acts with organized crime acts that never saw on my street. They have them recorded. Collusions /S with names increasingly falsified police reports with multiple police departments as collusions, wire crimes with them, whole wire crime methods, fake phone transcripts, changed phone transcripts, faked and changed digital. In other words, get them on paper, win them in sequence, please. So it has something to do with that. I don't know what it is. And the police have been forging and switching names. In other words, I know what we're going to get them on paper, one name in sequence. They faked conversations and ties to kids at the police station too when I was a kid with the people involved with this. These are increasingly people at Hartford Hospital next to them, like ones with the name Leahy and Lombardo, are increasingly involved with multiple courts, personally and professionally involved with organized crimes with them, identity theft, fraud, slanders, and relative delusions. So they have Judge Napolitano involved with this a bunch of ways. And he won't respond either. I can't get them on paper. They have some untimely deaths, some foreign and domestic military, a bunch of ways. And you guys are forcing me to say that. All I needed was the name. You have Trinity College has a bunch of people involved with Ray Collusions that confessed and recorded him involved with organized crimes with them and with the Heather Hansen and people on Church Street in Old Weathersfield. And there's also WTNH also reported, confessed, demonstrated from them acting professors and people with the departments at Central Connecticut State University and the intelligence next to them. That's in New Britain, Connecticut, in Hartford, Connecticut. Those are people also, a whole bunch of people involved with that, with the same house /us, with the police form, switching names, forging names, same with the courts, and all sides of criminal and civil cases already. And even if they don't know, because other people are just faking it for everyone. WFSB just fakes conversations with them. Ray Collusions and others recorded, sought me out and to demonstrate with the intelligence of my school in Weathersfield. They have rules with the corner of Elm Street and Route 3 from years before Mazzucato Bakery was there. But with the police chief and his family and intimate ties, and another retired police chief too, and his intimate ties with their house and where they moved from, and with the people that were there before. involved also reportedly as an intimate tie to a police chief, increasingly involved with people on the state corrections offices in 3 spots at the end of the Berlin Turnpike, with a Joshua Schumack, also with digital crimes to the Weathersfield police, his mother with identity theft, fraud, same federal images crimes, with sexual and medical offenders of kids, per people tied to them. And that's recorded true. Now, I never had a class with a Joshua Schumack. He tried to make it look like he knew me as his collusion with conjunction, like all along Route 3 in conjunctions to that, and like where the Weathersfield police station is now and where it used to be. A bunch of people at Central Connecticut State University in the Britain, Connecticut, intercities who they make confessions. Because then if anyone tries to say anything, because they're constantly need to hide things, because all natures and ages of investigators are being used remotely, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions raw, right where they are victims / hyper victims and not wanting to be, but right where the breaching method keeps exceptions for them, per a method to keep in the future that pretend did not realize too. Years ago, little kids confessed, were affected to make confessions to me, who I never even spoke with, about the corner of Highcrest Street. No, on a corner on Highcrest Street next to a school. WTNH also planted evidences there with educators from West Hartford named O'Neill and their kids involved with sexual and medical offenders of kids, intelligence agencies, collusions with other natures of organized crimes at the same time. So all the subject treatments, they're only going to have the wrong outcome. These are also families with the policing and security of the schools. Retired police chiefs have a lot of progressions to cover up, and collusions, all kinds of medicines crimes, drug crimes, organized crimes with the polling and research campuses involved. Quinnipiac University has a number of organized crimes roles with prosecutors and judges involved with sexual and medical offenders of kids personally and professionally, foreign and domestic medical families. And they're apparent, and even the real motivations with money, that's not their actual motivation. It's recorded. A breaching method keeps that to hide behind it through. We'll observe this, but you guys have to follow mandated law. They use wire crime acts and methods where they already put fake phone transcripts. They faked me being at the police station as a kid and speaking with them, and then as an adult with a whole bunch of people connected with different people, like Mendez Police, with the Weathersfield Police Department. They have collusions next to Fox Connecticut News in Hartford, Connecticut, and with the New Britain Superior Court. Has a bunch of people with the hallway of the court, and with all roles with the court involved with sexual and medical offenders of kids years apart, and a bunch of people tied to Eric Mendez. And we're involved with identity theft, fraud, slander, differences, rackets, too. Uses of their own differences, other people's names. Let me change his name, the older brother. I don't even know if it was Janito or what did he change it. Get them on paper. Get them on paper. Get them one name in sequence.